Okay, so hi everyone. I just wanted to let you know that I am going to be working on making some different YouTube videos. Most of you know by now that recently my husband and I moved to the Middle East into Kuwait. About a year and a half ago, we heard about this job opportunity here in the Middle East, and it's the same exact job that Brandon did in the military, but just on the civilian side. And, we took about a year to make the decision that we were going to be moving to Kuwait and do this for a year. So I got here about almost 4 weeks ago, and he got here at the beginning of February. So it's been a few months now. I was taking some time to, adjust to life in a different country. And then now it was on my heart that I realized that we are in such a unique position in our life right now. We are newlyweds. We got married almost 6 months ago. On top of that, we are living in Kuwait. Most people don't even know where Kuwait is or what it is or if it's safe or anything like that. And also we have the opportunity to travel the world. And on top of that, because I am here, I'm also not working. So I am at home all the time. So I just wanted to have some videos to look back on at this point of our life. And on top of that, I know a lot of our friends and family have talked to us and said that they wanted to know everything that we're doing or what life is like for us because it is so unique. So this is what this channel is going to be for. We are going to be hopefully making lots of videos on here, just documenting our journey here and reflecting on different things. We want to keep our memories of this place because we're already building them. So this is what it's for. It's gonna be a lot of talking. Hopefully I'll be able to share some more different memories or little snippets of some videos that I've already been able to capture. And then also, because I am home majority of the time, I need some sort of passion project. So just being able to create and document these milestones in our life just feels very important to me. So I'm actually going to be doing 2 different channels. One of them will be on YouTube, and it will be just basically documenting my family's journey. So, the different stuff that Brandon and I are doing, what life is like here, and such like that. So they're going to be longer videos. And then over on Instagram and on Facebook, I am going to be making different profiles, and those are going to be shorter videos of just what my personal life is like. So what does my life look like now that I am a stay-at-home wife? And what does life look like for me as a woman in the Middle East? And just other little things of just giving me something to do. I know I am totally guilty of watching all of the different videos about a day in the life and different routines and just everything like that. And again, I'm in such a unique place that it kind of gets to give more insight of what my life is like here. So I do want to give that little preface. So thank you for the ones that are watching. And then now I will get more into different things. I do have some notes here just so I can keep on track. Those of you that know me, I am a talker, so I want to make sure that I get the information that I wanted to give out. So the first part, I gave the preface that we heard about this opportunity about a year and a half ago. Honestly, it's probably coming up on 2 years ago. We made the decision probably actually a year ago. I remember it was Easter weekend where I told Brandon that I would feel comfortable and open to really considering what Kuwait would be like for us. And then we prayed on it a lot, and I know I did. I talked to so many different people about all of this, and God made it happen. And that is the biggest thing that I've learned, is anything that is meant to be in life and the plan that is supposed to happen, it's supposed to happen easily. And in that time, we got married. Well, we got engaged, got married. We transitioned our whole life here. I got to have some special time with my friends and family back at home for a little bit. And then we were actually worried that I was going to be in California for longer, because we did know that we would have to be apart for the first part of our journey here. We knew just how visas work. There was some changes in the visas right before Brandon left. I was initially going to come out on a family visa, but then they changed the criteria for that. And so then it was going to change into a travel visa. That's what I'm on here. And then the other part that happened is Ramadan, their holiday that lasts a month, happened in the middle part of his first 3 months here. We thought that it was just going to be 3 months apart. It was going to be 90 days because that's how long it would take to get his civilian visa so that he could get a place for us. So we're like, okay, it'll be 3 months for him to be able to establish, and then for me to come over here. Well, then we're like, well, wait, Ramadan is happening. Their government basically shuts down for that period of time. So we were like worried that it was actually going to take longer than the 3 months because of this holiday. But God made a way that actually got processed way before. So it got processed 2 months early. So then that kind of threw a transition in our plans. And then, we decided that we didn't want to be apart if we didn't have to. So we then decided that I was going to come out here earlier than expected. I know that was a huge shock on our family and friends. So, I had to cut my time early there, and it really did break my heart. But at the same time, it's what was best for my family. So, so that's kind of how things unfolded with that. And honestly, everything just fell into place for me to come here early. He got it processed sooner. We were able to book the flights super easily. We found great options for it. And then it also fell in a time where we got to have a lot of time together at the beginning because of Ramadan. So he was really be able to be there for me to transition to life here. And he found an apartment, and then within 2 days of finding it, he got to move in here. And it's a great place. It's fully furnished, so that's pretty great. I think we have a little tour of it that I'll add in, of just what our place is like, and I will give more information about the differences in housing in Kuwait compared to the States. So that's just kind of how things unfolded. So when I did book my flights, I was able to leave from Sacramento, and I flew from Sacramento to Seattle, actually. So that was a nice little reflection to be back in that area, even if it was for a few hours, because it just holds a very special place in my heart. So I had a layover there, and then I flew from Seattle to Dubai, and that was the long flight. It was 14 and a half hours. And the cool thing about that, though, is we actually flew over the North Pole. So that was really crazy to be able to get to do that. And the flight was actually fairly easy. I was able to get some sleep on it, and it happened for my overnight. So by the time I actually landed in Dubai, it was late at night for them. So I had a short layover in Dubai. That airport is huge. The city is huge. It was amazing to actually be able to see that when we were flying in, just all of the city lights of everything was actually fairly pretty awesome to see. And that is when it started to hit me that I am far from home. So before on the flight, it felt it's just a normal flight, whatever, didn't really hit me. But once I was in Dubai, I was like, oh, wait, I'm actually doing this now. And that Brandon will be at the end of this, and just how far away I truly am from everything. So I had my layover in Dubai. I was able to call my family for a little bit and just catch up with them on how things were going and let them know that I'm safe. And then I flew from Dubai to Kuwait. And that's a short flight. It's only like an hour and a half. Super easy. I got to land there, and then because I'm here on a travel visa, I had to apply for it before I left. You don't have to. I just did it to make it easier because I didn't land until like 10:30 p.m. Kuwait time. So it was pretty late. I was pretty tired, so I wanted to make sure that my arrival was as smooth as possible. And that was another thing that fell into place before I left. It usually takes like 2 to 5 days to get processed and approved, and literally mine got approved within 2 hours. So just shows God's plan with everything like that. So like I said, I arrived. I had some struggle trying to figure out where exactly to go and what the steps were, just because I am in a different country. The good thing is everyone in Kuwait speaks both Arabic and English, so they are able to understand English. Everything is written in both English and Arabic, so I'm able to navigate around. Took a little hiccups and some phone calls to try and figure it out, but I figured it out. I just had to go to a certain office and get the official like printout of a visa, and then go through their quick customs. And then I was able to see Brandon for the first time, and I think it was 6 or 7 weeks that we were apart. Those were not a fun time apart away from him. But we've also spent 9 months apart before, so 6 weeks wasn't too terrible, but it was definitely way different than when he was deployed. So, like I said, I arrived. We were thankful to have some friends actually pick me up and then take us back to our apartment. I got to see some of Kuwait, but again, it was probably like 11:30 by the time that I got through everything. So I was very tired and couldn't really see a lot, but I was also very excited. So we drove from the airport to then our house. So we are in an apartment complex. The great thing about here is it is expats only, meaning that it is just people here that are not like locals. So they're here for a variety of different reasons. Majority of everyone that is here to make good money. You don't live here for, other than that kind of thing. So it's really nice because then we kind of get to have our own oasis away from everything if we ever want to just feel the comfort of home rather than being in such a foreign place. But so it's very nice that we get to be around other expats. So in our apartment, we also have there's tons of different security guards. It's not for anything crazy. It's just to make sure that we're all okay and that the premise stays okay. It's honestly, it's a very safe place. Their culture just really values like honesty and respect and like not stealing or anything like that. So it's very safe. They're just here to help us for anything that we need. So we have that. We also have a pool in our little courtyard area, and there's like barbecues and different like tables and chairs and such. And then we also have a gym, which is really nice in our apartment complex. So honestly, it feels like a hotel here, but we get to, have a big apartment for it rather than like a hotel room. So that's very nice. And then I crashed that night. I was able to get some fairly decent sleep. I think by the time I fell asleep, it was probably like 12:30 or 1, and I was able to get some sleep, and I woke up in the morning, but then the jet lag was real. It's a 10-hour difference here from California, so we are 10 hours ahead. by that. So, the nights and mornings are mixed fairly well with this. It took me a few days to adjust. I tried my best to not take naps, but occasionally I would just crash for an hour and then try and get a full night's rest at night. But it did take me a few days, but once I took that time, I felt good. Brandon and I were able to have the first day that I was here together because it was his weekend. And then he went back to work, and he was only working half days because of Ramadan, so we got to have a lot of time together. My first day, we actually went to the grocery store because, again, he was living in company housing before, so we needed all the little things. Our place did come with different pots and pans and cups and such, but it was we need salt and pepper, we need different things. I love to cook, so we had to stock up on all of that, and that was my first time going to a different grocery store. And the grocery stores here are a little bit different. They're not very different, and yes, there's grocery stores here. A lot of people were asking what that was like. I know I was wondering on how that is because Kuwait is a desert, so they aren't able to produce a lot of their own food. They do import majority of everything. But yes, there's grocery stores, and honestly, the grocery stores here are huge. The one I went to for the first time was 3 stories, so it's huge. And that took a few hours to go through because, again, never went to one before, and for the most part, everything is kind of laid out similarly to American stores, but they don't always have the same item right next to each other. It'll all be in the produce area, but the broccolis might be in 2 different spots, and that is because it is coming from 2 different places in the world. So they might be having broccoli from France and from this other place, and so that it just took some time to kind of go through where everything was at. The cool thing is when you are in the produce area, you have to go to a counter in that area, and they actually weigh it and then give the price sticker onto your item. They don't weigh it at the checkout stand. It's a separate stand. So after you're done going through and getting it, you just go over there and you hand it to them, and they hand it back with the price sticker. So there's full on fish markets / butcher shops that are a lot bigger in the grocery stores. There's a lot more options. Again, this is a Muslim country, so there is no pork here, so there's a lot of lamb and stuff like that, but there's still beef and chicken, so that's what we've been getting, and a lot of different fish. So yep, that's just a difference. Again, I can find mostly everything that I am looking for and needing. It's just not, they fit a lot of different items in spaces, and it's not as easy of a flow. They have a lot more aisles, and they're kind of faced in different directions. So it just takes a little bit more time to kind of find everything. A lot of products that I might be familiar with, different brands, again, they're shipped in, so they are a little bit more expensive compared to what is coming from a shorter location or is produced here. So there are some things though that I'm it's the same price as what it would be back in the States, so I'll choose to get it, but there's other things yogurt or their butter or whatever that I will just get the local item for. So yeah, that's kind of it on grocery stores. Again, there are some items that are a little bit harder to find. I have not been able to find any cilantro, so that has just been a little thing. Their serving sizes are a little bit different. So when you get a pack of tortillas, rather than 8 coming in a pack or 10, it's usually 6 or 4. So that's just been a little bit of an adjustment, but been adjusting well to it. And been able to just be at home cooking, which is what I love to do. But that also brings to what our house is like with that. So for the most part, honestly, everything is pretty standard. Like, we have a 1 bedroom, 1.5 bath place. And we were very fortunate to be able to find this place. We did choose to go with furnished because we are here for about 9 more months. So we didn't want to have to worry about getting furniture and having to deal with all of that when we are like moving and such like that. So, yes. But then there are some differences. So some of the differences are the light switches are actually backwards. Same with locks on the doors. Mostly everything is kind of the same. Some other differences is our washer and dryer. There is no vent to the outside, so the dryer actually has like a water tank that collects all of the water that would just be vented out. So then when you're doing your laundry, you have to actually pull that tub out and then drain it. There are actually drains in the middle of our floors in different rooms because most of our place is actually tile, so it's all tile on the ground, and then in the kitchen it's tile walls, and same with the bathrooms. So they really like their tile here. It's been great kind of thing. So there are drains in the middle of the bathroom and the kitchen. So, and then some of the other differences is the oven. It is an Eastern style oven, so it is smaller, and instead of having buttons to like choose your heat, it's all in Celsius. So again, that's an adjustment. But you have different knobs that you have to turn on. So you have to turn the knob to the temperature, and then there's like a timer, but then you also have to turn the knob for what the function is. And they have little pictures, but the pictures are sometimes not the most clear to understand. So I did burn some items in the process of trying to figure it out, because again, it's also a smaller oven, so the heat is just different in there. Like people that have campers totally understand what I'm talking about with that. So I did burn some cookies and some bagels in the making of trying to figure it out, but I have been figuring it out. And then some of the other differences is not light switches, the outlets are again European style, so we do have differences with that, with the plugs, and they also have on and off switches for them. So we mostly keep them off, but you just turn it on when you do want the outlet to work. And yes, we also have an air conditioner here. It will get very, very, very hot here in the summer. It's already warming up. When I first got here, it was in the high 70s, and then now it is in the low 90s every day. So it is starting to warm up, but honestly, I haven't even really felt it because we're at a base level apartment, and we have an air conditioner, and we also have our pool. So that is how that has been working out. Speaking of where we also live, this country has a lot of mosques. So you will hear the call to prayer music 5 times a day. The first one is at sunrise and the last one is at sunset. So we do hear that. It's kind of going on in the background. That's why it just reminded me. And then some of the other little differences. Oh, so for women, honestly, women are safe here. I know that was a concern of a lot of different people just because of being in a very different culture. And the thing is, with their religion, women are respected and valued. So they are not considered like property or like, it's nothing like that. It's just, you do have to like establish if you are married or not, because there's just different rules with like married women and single women. Mostly like with how they view, like, a single woman cannot live with a single man. Like, you have to be married in order to live together. That's what I mean by some of the differences. And then like I said, like, I have not felt unsafe here for being a woman. Like a lot of the men, they will make sure to like move out of your way. If you're needing something, they're there to help. All of that, like I don't feel unsafe walking down the street at night kind of thing, because it's also in their law that they get more in trouble if there's any of those crimes that do happen. So it does have a level of protection for me. And then no, I do not have to cover up my hair or make sure I'm covered. Their only general rule of thumb is just general modesty. So they are looking for your knees and your shoulders to be covered. If I happened to go into any of the mosques, which I'm just choosing not to, I would have to cover my hair, but in the general outside, I don't have to. And that is fairly easy for me to have my shoulders and my knees covered. I'm already a fairly modest person. The only difference is I want to get some longer skirts just for the summertime to make it a little bit easier, and like same with like dresses, but that is the rule of thumb for here. And again, it's just about respect. Like as long as you're respecting their culture, they respect you. They do value like Americans. There are all sorts of different cultures here. So honestly, there's more expats living here than there are Kuwaitis. So it's a mush pot here, and as long as we respect them, they'll respect us. So that's fairly easy to do. And then the other part of it is what it's like being a Christian here. So it is a very Muslim culture. Majority of their laws are actually from their religion. So there is no separation of church and state here. So again, like their government shuts down for half days for their holiday. Ramadan, all expats had to observe out in public to not eat or drink, or consume, or have gum or have anything with their mouth out in public, just as respect thing for their period of time. We were allowed to, in our privacy of our own home. That's a little bit different. But yeah, that's just one of their things. So again, it's just respecting their culture. With that, they're allowed to do stuff differently. A special thing that did happen to me as being a Christian here is Easter happened the second weekend that I was here. So I had plans of being in California for the Easter holiday and being with my family and my church and all of that, but plans changed. And it was different, but I did get to have a special moment of trying to make sure that I'm being intentional, of still connecting with God. So it's been different, but it's been a good different. And what I mean by it's being so special is Kuwait is right by Saudi Arabia and Iran or Iraq. I get them mixed up, sorry. I'm pretty sure it's Iraq. And then also right outside of those countries is Israel. So yes, there is a lot of stuff going on with Israel there, but connecting it back to Easter, being so close to this area makes me feel more connected with the Bible. Actually sharing the same land that everything happened with is very special. It makes me think about what this land was when Jesus was alive and who was walking these grounds and what did that all look like. Again, even though I am far away from that, I am also a lot closer than I was in the States. So that's very special. But then also being in the Middle East, you're still right there that, this is desert here. And so being outside and where it's already very warm and where it's just the weather type here, it makes me truly think about what life was like then and that has just been very humbling. Also, their food origins with that, it's just been very sentimental with me just to reflect and think about that. So I was worried about feeling still connected, even being in such a different country. But honestly, I feel more connected with God right now and with Jesus than in the States, because I have to be so intentional, and I do feel God's presence with here. Again, He's supported every single step of this journey, and He's made it very obvious that we're supposed to be here. But yes, so it's been just very special for that. And then I'm just looking to see if there's any differences. We haven't gone on too many different outings just because it was a holiday, so majority of everything was closed during the day, and then they would open up at nighttime. And Brandon works the day shift, and he was working an early morning shift, so we just, we weren't out at night very often. So we mostly just stayed at home, and we did go out. One of the outings besides the grocery stores was I did go to my first mall here, and Kuwait is not known for a lot of things, but it is known for their malls. It's very funny because outside, well, not really funny, it's just cool that or I don't really know what word to use, but outside, a lot of their buildings look very similar. They're very sand colored, have a similar architectural style. Their landscaping in some areas are just very different or not very well kept up. There's a lot of just different debris and trash out and about. But then when you get into the malls, they make those feel as bougie as possible. So it's very funny with that. You go inside and it's like this giant castle kind of thing. So I did go to my first mall. I went to the Al Qut Mall, and this is 4 stories. So it's still a very bougie, extravagant mall, but there are other ones that are 2 miles long and all of that. Because again, when it's so hot outside, you don't want to be outside. You have to have stuff to do inside. So there is still plenty to do in these malls. There's every single store you can think of. There's, American Eagle. There's Lush here. There's Sephora. There's all these different places. Their clothing just might look different. I remember I had such a hard time trying to find a full-length shirt in the United States, but here, they obviously offer the very modest clothing, so that has just been nice to have available. And again, if I ever choose to need anything, or if I need anything, all that stuff is available, because I know some people were like, what is that gonna be like? And it's they're known for their malls. There's every single American restaurant you can think of here, plus more. So the only exception is there's no In-N-Out, obviously, and there's no Chick-fil-A, but there is literally every single one that you can think of. There's Starbucks everywhere because there's coffee shops everywhere, honestly. More than Washington. I thought Washington, would have one on every single block, and here there's 2 on every block. Plus there's 5 different food options here. So that's been just kind of fun to see. So we have just tried different things around here. What I did do, because again, I'm me, is we did go to Starbucks one time, and they do have some different items on their menu. So that is some things that I'm hopeful to kind of share with that, because I know some different people are interested in that. So I'll share that on Instagram and Facebook with that reaction video. So they have Spanish lattes, and they have I tried, it was a waffle caramel latte, and it was very nice because it wasn't too sweet. In the United States, I usually have to have barely any of the sweetener at Starbucks because it gets way too sweet, but here they don't have a ton. So that was just very nice and refreshing for that. And again, it's a mush pot of culture, so you have all sorts of different cuisines here. So I will be documenting those as well. And then the last point that I kind of want to talk about is that we are starting to plan different vacations. So we do have a vacation planned in August. We are going on a Mediterranean cruise with my parents and my sister, one of my sisters. So we are going to Greece, Turkey, and Italy for that, and we will spend a few days in Athens, and we will also spend a few days in Rome. So if anyone has any travel tips for that, or if they've been and they're like, this is a must-see or anything like that, please share. We are also planning on going to Germany in September. I think we're going to be going to Munich. We are going to Dubai in June. So again, if anyone has anything or they're like, I've seen this, you should totally go check this out, and give a review or whatever, please let me know. And then we are thinking about going to the Maldives in October, and then probably back to Europe for the Christmas markets sometime in November or December. So one of the reasons why we are here is because we are a lot closer to travel places than we are in the United States. And with Brandon's position, he has a lot more like holidays off and vacation times, and such like that. So we have the opportunity to be able to travel to a lot of these places this year. So again, if you have any tips or tricks with any of that, just please send them my way. But that is it for today. Again, I will be sharing other little snippets of my life on my other platforms. But yeah, so thank you so much. Thank you for supporting us, and things are settling in. We are very, very blessed and grateful to have this opportunity and to have everyone's support, because we truly could not do this without everyone that has come into our life for this. And we love everyone bunches. We miss everyone. And you know, we're very grateful that we do have technology to be able to still stay connected and document all of this. So yes, thank you. Bye.